Hello, 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 hello. This is Tips of the Unknown, and I'm here to talk about a new report that came out about SmackDown yesterday. And yes, before I get started, I do realize that I am breaking SmackDown news while sporting all red. Well, minus the cap because it's red and black, but still, red shirt, red shorts. All right. Anyways, got that out the way. So apparently, according to WrestleVotes and many others, I think Fightful even wrote this out. Uh, that after so many people complained about it being 3 hours, being too long for SmackDown, well, they cut it down to 2 hours. So those of you that complained about 3 hours, well, you're gonna about to complain again because here we are. We're going back to 3 hours starting January the 2nd, as tweeted out according to sources. WWE and USA Network have decided to move SmackDown back to 3 hours, beginning with the January 2nd show from Buffalo, New York. I've always been a big advocate for SmackDown to get 3 hours because I always felt like Raw always got 3 hours, and before when it was on USA Network, and now it just feels like they always got the short end of the stick. But the thing with SmackDown, pretty much since Roman and the Bloodline have not been a part of it, is that they don't know what they're doing anymore. They don't know. And that's the thing that bothers me a bit, because you have Cody Rhodes, and he has proven to be a pretty great, reliable champion. And just listening to the fans, they are behind him. But you are starting to hear a little bit of the boos because it's starting to feel like it's getting stale. I'm not saying turn Cody Rhodes heel because you can't do that. There's something. Things got to change. Now, Ilya Dragunov being the new United States champion and carrying on the legacy of what John Cena brought and Sami Zayn did, it's fucking chef's kiss. I love that fucking U.S. Open Challenge with Ilya Dragunov. And I feel like that may be coming to an end because they're teasing two possible opponents down the line that will change that. One is Tama Tonga, and the other is Tommaso Ciampa. Now, if I feel like storyline-wise, Dragunov versus Tama, I feel like Tama would win that, and so that's why I don't want. So that's why I would keep Tama away from the U.S. Championship at the moment. Have him versus Tommaso Ciampa. And they've been building that one up because lately Tommaso's been wanting to challenge for the U.S. Championship because it is an open challenge, but Dragunov has rules for his open challenge, and you apparently cannot be a jackass to to take part in this open challenge, and yet he gave it to Gargano. A little bit of the old Gargano spirit came out in that match, but it's what it is. I enjoyed that. So the problem is not the fact that it's 3 hours. It's the quality of SmackDown as of late. It's like, yeah, and they got Brodog still in charge, and they they got a new writing team, but still, if your top guy is not doing as well as he should, then maybe you need to change the guy that's at the top, which is Road Dogg when it comes to creative for SmackDown. It's got to change, and I know Triple H wants to keep his guys in there, but if you're underperforming, you got to go, or at least have Road Dogg step down, and at least be part of something, because this shit ain't flying. They're hoping with that booking and shit that it would change. SmackDown turned a little bit with the Ilya Dragunov stuff. Shinsuke Nakamura getting back his fucking entrance music. I love it. I love it. I love it. Tiffany lost the title to Jade Cargill. We kind of knew that was coming. Jade Cargill's a new champion. Jade Cargill is now starting to squash. She squashed B-Fab this past Friday. She'll probably, and that's the way I kind of would book Jade at this point. as like have her like beat them senseless. I think when she goes up against Tiffany again, I think Tiffany and her should have a better bout. But I think Jade Cargill should overwhelm Tiffany. It's one of the things that I feel like they should do with Jade is have her just beat the living shit out of people in their matches, because she held back because she was a babyface. She held back because she wanted to do things the right way. Not anymore. She's got a mean streak in her now. The scar. That really adds a little bit more personality there to already an amazing personality in Jade Cargill, and I just feel like that adds to her heel persona a bit, and I just feel like that's the route we need to go. And hopefully, I have said this before, Bianca Belair returns at the Royal Rumble. Bianca wins the Royal Rumble, and we get Jade versus Bianca at WrestleMania. Okay, so here it is. And I'm throwing this out there. Okay, this is one of the things I wanted to change up about SmackDown going forward. The women's division. Okay, hear me out. I'm going to get back to Jade in a minute. They have a U.S. championship, and Chelsea Green is the champion, and I love Chelsea Green. And I kind of felt like they recently hit now. So I think this was a social media post. I didn't see it on SmackDown. If I did, if it was on SmackDown, damn, I can't believe I missed it. But there was a social media video of Giulia angry, just cursing in Japanese about just being so pissed off about losing the U.S. championship to Chelsea Green, and that basically Chelsea Green awoken something inside of her that she should have left sleeping. Chelsea Green's supposed to have a damn celebration next week. And I think we're going to see this side of Giulia that we have been needing to really see. And we only got small glimpses of it when she went up against Zelina. But this version of Giulia needs to really come out. Is one of the people that needs to be pushed to the fucking moon. And it is Giulia. Giulia needs to go ahead and challenge Chelsea at Survivor Series War Games. I know it's not, probably wouldn't happen, but I think it should. If you're going to highlight that, you should really highlight it. I mean, you should really highlight it. As much as you're doing the IC Championship, and Becky Lynch doing, I think, a pretty damn great job with Maxine. You have to do this. You have to do this with Giulia. I think Giulia interrupts that celebration and challenges Chelsea at Survivor Series War Games, and seeing how much punishment Chelsea can take. Seeing how much punishment Chelsea can take. I think you just have to have Giulia maul her. You have to have Giulia maul her, eviscerate her to the point of no return. Sorry, Chelsea. And I think Giulia should win back the U.S. Championship. And while like Ilya Dragunov is doing, to definitely start doing that with Giulia. And maybe it'll be like a little bit of squash matches here and there until the January 2nd SmackDown. If it actually goes to 3 hours, have Giulia have those open challenges. And this is also going off the fact that you're going to revamp the SmackDown roster, women's roster, a bit with the supposed draft that's supposed to be coming. That I feel like it should be coming after John Cena's thing, because now it would be the perfect tagline. John Cena's time is up. It's over. It's time to start a new it makes sense that they'd have to move on to a different chapter in the company and just do a fucking draft. That is one of the things I feel like they should do. So basically, I think Giulia should start kind of like almost in the same trajectory as Jade Cargill at this point, just basically destroying competitors left and right, having really great matches for the most part. Not as dominant, I would say, as Jade, because Jade looks physically imposing, but to the point where Giulia is looking damn amazing and really highlighting how great she is in the ring, because she is fucking phenomenal. I love her, and I just think that's what you need to do. Giulia, do the open challenges, get Giulia, and then you have like a baby face that tries to come in and wants to upset her, and that's what you do with the fucking storyline. Kind of like we're doing with Ilya right now. So I feel like Giulia is one of the ones that can really move the goalpost, and I just feel like with a new SmackDown roster, and yes, there could be some still women from SmackDown before the draft still be on SmackDown, but have them still be part of this, building up Giulia. And because you need to change something, you need to really start. You need to have a fucking spark in there, and I just feel like that women's division is too fucking talented to not have a fucking spark. Too fucking talented. So I would have Giulia have her own open U.S. Open challenge. Kind of like, I know the matches probably won't be as long, but hopefully if they do move to 3 hours by January the 2nd, that's what they'll start doing. Because then I believe at least by that time, Ilya would have already finished his open challenge thing because of the storylines with Tommaso and Tama eventually. So I feel like that's where we could go with that. Another guy that needs to get pushed. And it's been one of the ones that a lot of people have been saying, I've been agreeing with. Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes is too fucking talented, and I get that he's not really like the typical what you would look at, but neither was Shawn Michaels, neither was Eddie Guerrero, neither was a lot of these other guys that were smaller wrestlers, but they knew how to put on a fucking show. They knew how to put it in the ring. They know how to cut promos. This guy is too doggone good to be just in the back in catering. You got to put him out there, and I feel like with him in this U.S. Open, not U.S. Open Challenge, but with this, John Cena tournament, everyone wants to say Gunter this or Obafemi, and I was one of the ones to say Obafemi at first. But now I'm thinking Carmelo Hayes needs to be the guy to face John Cena in John Cena's final match, whether he wins or not. I think that's what is needed. I would like John Cena to win his final match, even if Carmelo loses. Have him have one of those fantastic showings and showing that the future is bright with WWE. With going forward, John Cena signing off on Carmelo Hayes. I love to see it. I don't really want to see Gunther retire anybody else. He already retired Goldberg. He did his job. He got that Goldberg ass out. I don't want to see Gunther retire John. I just don't think he's done enough. I don't think he doesn't need it. And I know some people were thinking that he does, but no, he doesn't fucking need it. It needs to be to somebody else. Now, Obafemi was my first choice. But I'm really, really considering it being Carmelo Hayes as being my top choice. I think Carmelo Hayes deserves that shot. And just go from there. And let him have a hell of a showing in the Royal Rumble going forward. And he may not win. Let him be maybe one of the final guys in the Elimination Chamber, like down to the final 3 or 2 to face the champion. And even, he doesn't have to win, but eventually you get there. Carmelo Hayes needs that time to shine, and I just feel like whether he wins the WWE Championship, I don't think he'll win it this year. Maybe next. Well, not next year. He won't. I don't think he'll win it next year, but maybe the year after. But I do see him winning the U.S. Championship eventually. Maybe he beats Tama for it, because I think Tama's going to be the one to take it off Ilya. But I feel like you can do it with Carmelo Hayes eventually taking the title off of Tama. And then you have Carmelo Hayes go on an insane run as the U.S. champion. Another thing that needs to be pushed, Jacob Fatu. Now, it's crazy that I say that because Jacob Fatu's been pushed pretty well. But he was about to get main event pushed before he had to have surgery on his teeth. It was major surgery, and they said he thought he was going to be out for a long time. He most likely is just going to be out for a small part of next year. I have him not in the Rumble. I mean, he could show up in the Rumble, but I have him coming in the Rumble and coming after Randy Orton, because I have said this. I think I said this before in another video. Drew McIntyre had nothing to do with Jacob. It was completely Randy Orton, because Randy Orton saw this man as a threat. Because he said if Jacob's calling for the championship, he's already been on the receiving end of a lot of Jacob's beatdowns. He knows that if Jacob gets the title, it's a hell of a lot harder to take the title off him than it is Cody Rhodes or Drew McIntyre. So he had to weigh his options, and he took out Jacob. So I feel like that rivalry should be done really well. So I feel like those two should battle it out for most of next year, with Jacob beating him at WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas, and then Randy Orton wins the following match to, tie it up, and then the rubber match. If they do Bad Blood, definitely a Hell in a Cell match with Jacob Fatu and Randy Orton, because I know it's gonna be vicious, because Randy Orton's calculating, he'll bump the shit out of you, and with Jacob is just a fucking monster. We've seen this man just destroy people left and right, and this man can go on the fucking mic and just own shit. Randy Orton's getting, he didn't take the promos personally, but I mean, seriously, but eventually he did, and when he did, you could just tell that his promos is fucking just great. And just have these two guys go at it. Obviously, Jacob beats Randy Orton in my proposal of a Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood, and he moves on, and he gets to challenge whoever the hell's the champion. Have him move up the rankings. He needs to be in the World Heavyweight title picture after he beats Orton. After his feud with Randy Orton, you cannot miss with these two guys. These two guys in the ring, you cannot miss with either one of them. Have him move up the rankings to go on and take on whoever's the champion at that time. Hell, it could be Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre could be champion by that time. I don't know, but we'll see. Alright, and so here we are. Now back to Jade. I was going to circle back to Jade, one of the people that I really was big on when she came in. And, it took her a while to really get her legs underneath her and really just kind of go for it. And really kind of started showing out as a singles competitor. Really started to look better and better with each match, I felt. Of course, there was a few mishaps and a few... damn, I'm so blanking on the names right now. The botches, there you go. But I think she's done pretty well, and I think this championship run is going to be pretty great for her. Like I said, she should be dominating people, squashing people, just fucking dominating for most of the matches. Maybe an opponent or two that could give her a bit of trouble, but she'll come out on top. I feel like Bianca Belair should return and win the Royal Rumble and have Bianca versus Jade. That'd be a hell of a match. And Bianca as champion is great. And those of you who do not want Bianca to win a championship, y'all can go screw yourselves, because that girl deserves to win a damn championship. She hasn't really truly been in the damn title picture in what was it, 2 years? And people were already complaining, like, please don't put her in the title picture. Y'all motherfuckers just hating on pure excellence on the EST of WWE. And I gotta tell you this right now, Jade Cargill needs some Marco Belair. I'm already saying it. She gonna get that Marco Belair at WrestleMania. And those of you who have been watching my videos know what I mean by the Marco Belair. You go watch her whip the shit out of people with that damn braid and see that mark. The mark of Belair. But if she still hasn't recovered by then, because here's the thing, by the Royal Rumble. Here's the thing, I don't want her winning the Elimination Chamber match, because it just feels redundant. You just did it with her this past year. That's why I want her to win the Rumble. So Bianca Belair can't make it there, and it's gonna be kind of hard to do this, because because it's kind of hard to see Bianca kind of on the sidelines and stuff like that, not being in the title picture now more than ever with Jade as champion. I got another suggestion for who should be. If you can't do Bianca winning the Rumble, if she is not ready by the time the Rumble comes around, easy. Have Chelsea Green win the Rumble. I remember the Unreal, I think it was Unreal, I think that's what it's called, Unreal on Netflix with WWE. They're pitching the idea of the women who could win the Rumble. And of course they went with Charlotte. But there was an idea that one of them threw around. I can't remember the guy's name. But he said, what if Chelsea Green actually won the Rumble? And it wasn't like she did anything to, like, throw anybody off. It's just she got caught up in something, and somehow she held on. Kind of like almost what happened with Tatum. At Tatum Paxley at when they had that battle royal to determine who was going to face JC Jane for her title. And I feel like Chelsea Green winning the Rumble would be fucking amazing. I think she is amazing. Everything you could tell by the work she puts in and everything that she does. I think Chelsea Green deserves a title run. If you can't give it to Bianca because Bianca's not ready, you give it to Chelsea Green. I think Chelsea Green winning the Rumble and kind of deciding who she wants to take out. Who the hell does she want to take out? Now, obviously, she's not gonna be thinking about Jade. Easily go to Raw, whoever the champion is at that point. If it's still Stephanie Vaquer, she could be like, okay, either one of these two. And it's not until Jade pokes and prods her and basically kind of humiliates her to the point where Chelsea has this babyface turn, and or at least turns her attention right to Jade, and she goes and she picks Jade. And throughout the whole rivalry, it is Jade just totally embarrassing her and just beating the crap out of her and just showing how dominant she is, and how Chelsea will not win the championship, and how she does not take Chelsea seriously. But then you have Chelsea cut this amazing promo and just really start having this amazing resurgence that she has, and just makes you believe that maybe she's got a shot. Maybe she's got a shot. And by the time WrestleMania comes, it's Las Vegas. You got to go all in to Las Vegas. And then you have Chelsea Green and Jade just dominating the match as she predicted. Chelsea gets a few wins and a few shots in and stuff like that. But I would take it to the point where it's almost like Brock Lesnar and Eddie Guerrero, where Brock Lesnar dominated most of that match, but Eddie kept hanging in there, finding ways to keep himself in that match. I just feel like Chelsea could pull that off. And I'm not saying that anybody's going to interfere like they did in the Brock Lesnar Eddie Guerrero match. But I do feel Chelsea should win the championship. It would be a hell of a moment in Las Vegas for Chelsea Green. The whole crowd's already behind her right now, and she's a heel, but she's just such a lovable heel, and we just love her to death. And she's willing to give whatever she can for the betterment of the women's locker room, and I just feel like that should be totally rewarded. And I just think Chelsea Green winning the championship at WrestleMania Las Vegas would be fucking amazing. Now, they could do something like that and push it all the way to next year, to the following year's WrestleMania, but that's in Saudi, and I don't know how people would in Saudi really truly feel about Chelsea Green or about most female wrestlers, and I'm not trying to down anybody here. I just feel like it'd be more advantageous for Chelsea to win in the States than to go to Saudi Arabia. So for me, if you can't do Bianca Belair, the money match, the big time money match at WrestleMania this year, you gotta have Chelsea go and win the Rumble and have her go up against Jade. Have that small build, building up her character more and more as time goes on, and by the time she has to make a decision, she chooses Jade because Jade is being a total bitch. And, basically saying you better pick the other champion because you ain't going to get it here. You ain't going to get this title. And just fully bashing Chelsea into Chelsea's pride getting in the way and Chelsea choosing Jade. So for me, I would love to see Chelsea win. It's not going to be long. Again, this is probably 4, maybe even 5 months as champion. That's still a pretty great champion. And title run. And I think Chelsea getting that would be fucking amazing. Now, they could just have her lose it at Money in the Bank or at SummerSlam. However else you want to do it after that next year. But, yeah, if you can't do Bianca Belair, you got to get Chelsea Green to win it. You got to get Chelsea Green to win the Royal Rumble and face Jade at WrestleMania. That is my pitch. There's just a lot of wrestlers that need to be pushed and a lot of wrestlers that get overlooked. And I think if you want shit to change, you have to change up the line of thinking. And like I said, and again, with regards to Jacob Fatu, Jacob does not need to go to Raw. If anything, him staying on SmackDown would be the best thing for SmackDown. Like I said, that rivalry with Randy Orton and Jacob would be fucking amazing. Keep him there. I can't see where it's going to go, but I do feel like SmackDown does need to change a bit of its writing, a bit of its storytelling, and realize that you need to stop trying to go what the bloodline is. I think the biggest problem is that they're trying to make too many factions, like AEW did. AEW really kind of started a bit of the faction, I guess. But to me, the best faction has always been the Bloodline. Right now, you can rival them with the old school Bullet Club and whatnot. But the Bloodline, with Roman Reigns, Jimmy, Jay, Solo, and even throwing Sammy as well with Paul Heyman. Ed has that was just fucking god tier. And I just felt like they just continue doing these things. I think you just, at this point, need to end factions. Because right now, there's just too much. Especially on Raw with the Judgment Day. Somehow they're still together. That shit needs to break up. They're long overdue for a breakup. But this faction shit needs to come to an end. If you do another faction, let it be fucking something organic. Because that's what the Bloodline was organic. It was a lot of real shit because it was family shit, but it was real. So I just feel like going forward with SmackDown, you gotta end the factions. And you just have to, and not like automatically, but over time you have to end the factions, this faction war somehow. There should probably be only one big faction and not all these other factions. One big faction, maybe maybe a show or a whole company, because that's the only way it worked, in my viewpoint. So, anyways, that's my thoughts on SmackDown moving to 3 hours. I generally love SmackDown having 3 hours because it means more time, and it just means that even though, and yes, I do realize that it's been sucking, but I'm hoping, this is my optimism. I'm hoping with more time being added by January 2nd, that they're able to do by that time have more quality shit and be able to realize the error of their mistakes when they had 3 hours before they moved back to two. Then that now that they're moving back to three, that's a mouthful. That they just figured that shit out, so you don't have much dead space. And because it's also on a Friday night, so people ain't gonna be hanging around on a Friday night and not do shit. So that's my thoughts on SmackDown moving to 3 hours possibly, and what I feel like they should change, and what I feel like the people they should push. Obviously, also if they do somehow get Trick or Obafemi on NXT, I think that from NXT, I think that'd be fucking great. Get Lola Vice in there or Jada Parker. I can definitely see Soul moving, but I think they may want to keep her there. But I could definitely see Soul. JC Jane, Fallon Henley, kind of moving on to SmackDown would be great, because I think they need to move on, or just, I don't know what else to do with them at this point. But I think JC Jane and Fallon Henley definitely should move to SmackDown. But like I said, things have to change, and it's about not only having the writing to be better, but having the right wrestlers move up the chain, because you can't have the same wrestlers in the same spots for so many years and not do a damn thing with them. So that's my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, or let me know how you feel about SmackDown moving to 3 hours, and what would you change about SmackDown. What wrestlers would you push in order to freshen up the show? Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.